Austin, Tulsa is a great city, and sometimes we get to talk to city leaders and politicians about how this whole thing runs. We've even interviewed the mayor a time or two, and those segments are so important to letting our community know that there is a plan in place and people in charge who care about every aspect of our living here.
Absolutely a great place to live, and we look now behind the scenes a little to the people who are working hard to grow Tulsa in the most productive manner.
A smart way to look to the future, if you will, with a group of Tulsa business people whose goal is to advocate and shape smart public policy.
Smart Growth Tulsa is a community organization organized as a nonprofit. We are an organization that's devoted to improving the quality of life in Tulsa for all citizens. Our mission statement is to advocate and shape smart public policy. Well, I think that like any city, we're experiencing some growing pains and we still have some resistance to change in our community. There are practices that we can do that would help create a greater sense of place in the community that would be more attractive to the millennials and the creative class that we're trying to attract to the city. And we do that through various ways in the built environment, both the public realm and the private development that surrounds that public realm. The city's streets are the biggest portion of what property that the city owns. And those streets and those roads provide the anchors for private development. And so the way we design those streets and those roads in the public realm, the infrastructure around that, the sidewalks, the drainage issues, and that really impacts how development is able to really serve the citizens in the best possible way. Well, I think certainly downtown is the anchor for everything in terms of the city. It's the core of the city, and basically everything we do in transportation-wise, we want it to connect downtown. Downtown should have an intermodal passenger hub for an intermodal facility that would tie together automobile traffic, but also various transit types of transportation. Hopefully we will get connected to the nation's rail network. We have in Tulsa adopted what's called Complete Streets policy several years back. Several members on our board were involved in encouraging the city to do that. And so a Complete Streets policy or a Living Streets policy helps the city balance their investments in the streets to serve multimodal purposes, so that it's not just about the automobile, it's about pedestrians and cyclists and transit users as well. So in creating that public realm, making the investments in the cycling infrastructure, bike racks, bike lanes, protected bike lanes in particular, to try to encourage people to have a more active lifestyle. And that sense of place that you were talking about is really crucial. So what we're trying to do is encourage the city to create those placemaking strategies where people want to be, and then connecting those through various transportation modes. Throughout the city, there are places where we can create pockets of density that would be somewhat different than the typical suburban style development, where everything is a separation of uses. Having multifamily here and industrial over here and retail over here. So there are areas where we might be able to combine those uses and create centers of activity that would be easier to maintain in terms of the infrastructure needs and maintenance needs. We envision an equitable, resilient, connected, and flourishing community. So that covers quite a bit of ground.